chance to hear it, so let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina Speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You hear some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome, one and all. Yes, to our family near and far. It's good to be back with you this evening. Right here from the beautiful Cayman Islands. Oh my God, it's hot. It's hot. But what do you know? We're in the tropics. Suck it up, girl. Suck it up. It's so good to be back with you as we kick off this new week here in the month of April. Yes, it's April 20th, Monday, April 20th, and I'm so happy to be back with you this evening. Welcome to one and all to another episode of Sabrina Speaks, Voices of the Islands, Conversations for the World, the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. I am Sabrina, for all of you who are just joining me for the first time, and it's good to be back with you. I want to thank you for all the love that has been shown over the weekend. Yeah, as I celebrated another personal milestone. And for all of you who are liking, following, sharing, and definitely subscribing, we appreciate all of you. Yes. And we're in for a jam-packed show today. Yes, I'm so happy to be able to showcase two young men that are doing phenomenal. Yes, in our community, and we're going to put the spotlight on them. I'll tell you more. Yeah, and that is about everything that they are doing as two very, very, there we go. Sorry, I'm just going here. Yes, two who are making their mark in the Cayman Islands. Yes, and what I'm going to do is highlight and put the spotlight on two young rising Caymanian entrepreneurs. Adonai Rochez, that's 17-year-old young man who is a business builder, an AI presenter, and a youth development advocate. And also will be joining him later on in the show this afternoon is Mr. Alexander Powell, a 16-year-old who's an aspiring entrepreneur with interest in business, real estate, and emerging technology. And guess what? Together, we'll be discussing the role in the future of AI in the workforce and what it means to build scalable impact from such a young age, because these two young men have definitely just catapulted. And thanks to Cayman Islands Enterprise City, who has given them the opportunity, and we'll tell you more about why that is all meshing so well and creating the space and the environment for young people like these two gentlemen that we will be speaking to momentarily. But please remember that the content you're about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, my guests, or participants, is intended solely for general informational and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional legal, medical, or financial advice. So I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for specific concerns. Now, Bridge Media Limited and all its affiliates disclaims all liability for any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented. And at some point in time, after we've gotten into the discussion, or we've allowed these two young men to let us hear more about them and exactly how they got into the spotlight, we welcome you to share the love. Of course, you can either WhatsApp us or give us a live call. 345-936-8255. Be a part of the discussion and definitely show your love in the comments below as well. We will definitely read it out to them as we continue to highlight and showcase them and many others to come. But before we get into it, you know how we do it here on this platform. Yes, let's take a look at this evening's weather forecast and into tomorrow. The synopsis calls for light winds and seas will persist for the next 24 hours due to a weak pressure gradient over the Northwest Caribbean. Now, radar imagery shows no showers around the Cayman area. The forecast for tonight is calling for mostly fair skies with a low chance of showers. Temperatures will fall near the upper 70s and winds will be northeast 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Tomorrow's forecast is calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise near the mid-80s with a heat index of 95. Winds will be northeast 10 to 15 knots and seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. There will be a low tide at 5:42 this evening and a high tide at 12:45 a.m. Another low is expected at 7:18 tomorrow morning. Now, the sun will set this evening at 6:43 and sun will rise tomorrow morning at 6:04. The outlook is calling for moderate winds and seas by Wednesday as a high pressure system builds over the eastern United States and tightens the pressure gradient over the Northwest Caribbean. Now, there you have it. That's your evening's weather forecast. Compliments of our friends over there at the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. Now, let's see what's made the news headlines for the Sabrina Speaks this Monday evening. We start with local news. Police are continuing their investigation into a daytime robbery at Rochez jewelry store on the waterfront. Now, no injuries were reported, and detectives spent the afternoon reviewing the scene and gathering statements. Witnesses say they heard a loud bang believed to be hammers striking display cases before two men were seen leaving the jewelry store with jewelry. Now, the suspects were wearing neon green shirts, and this is a developing story, and we will provide updates as the story unfolds. And in other local news making our headlines today, police are investigating an incident in which a vehicle failed to stop for officers this afternoon, resulting in a pursuit in the West Bay area. Now, according to the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, 3 police units and 1 firearms response unit vehicle were involved after the driver of a Honda CRV reportedly fled from an attempted stop. Now, the pursuit continued north before officers disengaged in the interest of the public safety. Now, no injuries have been reported, and police say further information will be provided as the investigation progresses. Witnesses, however, or anyone with relevant footage are encouraged to contact authorities. In other local news this afternoon, the Department of Labor and Pension reports that it's recovered $1.2 million in outstanding pension contributions from delinquent companies in 2025. The total includes more than US $600,000 recovered from a single employer as enforcement efforts intensified against businesses failing to meet their legal obligations. Now, the Ministry of Employment is also considering a new requirement for companies to show proof of pension compliance before renewing their annual trade and business licenses. Officials say that the measures come amid growing concerns about the number of employers failing or falling behind on pension payments. Yes, making other local news this evening, we see where Cayman is beginning to feel the effects of rising global tensions, with fuel prices already increasing across the islands. As an import-dependent economy, Higher fuel costs are expected to influence multiple sectors, including shipping, groceries, electricity, and air travel. Economists note that global conflict often impacts small nations indirectly, with price pressures appearing gradually before becoming more widespread. Now, local authorities are monitoring international developments closely as residents brace for the possibility of continued volatility in the global energy markets. Cayman is also preparing to apply for qualified jurisdiction status, a designation that would strengthen the island's standing in the global reinsurance markets. Now, officials says the move is intended to enhance access to the United States markets while reinforcing Cayman's long-term regulatory credibility. The initiative forms part of a broader strategy to attract international capital and support continued growth within the financial services sector. Now, further details are expected as the application process advances. And the Honorable Minister for Finance Education, Minister Ralston Anglin, is seeking planning permission to build 2 apartment blocks in West Bay. But the proposal has drawn objections. The 14-unit, 11,700 square feet development, complete with a cabana and swimming pool, was submitted more than a year ago and has now reached the Central Planning Authority. Now, Anglin is partnering with EKT Architecture on the project, which is planned for Northwest Point Road in a low-density residential zone. The CPA will consider both the application and the concerns raised before making its decision. Turning our attentions now this evening to regional and international news. As reported by Trinidad Express, the Trinidad Express is reporting that multiple bodies have been discovered in what appears to be a mass grave in Kumotu area. According to the newspaper, the remains include adults and infants, and the site has been secured as a major crime scene. Specialized units have been deployed as investigators work to determine how long the bodies were there and whether the location was used for organized criminal activity. Authorities also said that the investigation is in its early stages and further updates will be provided as forensic examinations continue. And in other news out of Trinidad this evening, the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force has concluded a week-long National Cyber Subject Matter Expert Exchange at UWI St. Augustine. Held in partnership with the Delaware National Guard, more than 40 participants from over 20 agencies took part in training on incident response, threat detection, digital forensics, and cyber threat intelligence. Now, the engagement ended with a courtesy call from the Chief of Defense Staff, reaffirming ongoing collaboration in national cyber security. International news, a powerful 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck northern Japan on Monday, shaking communities across Sankuri coast and triggering immediate tsunami alerts. Now, according to the Japan Meteorological Agency, the quake hit a shallow depth of about 19 kilometers, intensifying the impact along coastal areas. Tsunami waves of up to 80 centimeters were recorded in parts of Iwate, prompting urgent evacuations and coastal warnings. Authorities are monitoring aftershocks closely as concerns are raised over the potential for a larger seismic event in the region. And as we wrap up the news just before our business update, Apple has announced that Tim Cook will step down as CEO. Ending nearly 15 years in the role, Cook will remain with the company through the summer before transitioning to executive chairman on September 1st of 2026. Now, Apple confirmed that John Ternus, senior vice president of hardware engineering, will become the company's next chief executive officer. The transition approved unanimously by Apple's boards follows what the company describes as a long-term succession plan. And we took our attention as we wind down this segment of Sabrina Speaks this evening and look at our markets closing today. The U.S. market closed lower today as renewed tensions in the Middle East weighed in on investment sentiment. The S&P 500 slipped 0.24% to 7,109. The Nasdaq fell 0.26% to 24,404, and the Dow ended virtually unchanged at 49,442. Oil prices surged sharply, with WTI crude rising above $89 per barrel and Brent nearing $95, reflecting continued geopolitical uncertainty. Across the Caribbean, trading remained steady on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, while the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange reported no major movements. Before going live, the Cayman Islands Stock Exchange did not publish daily closing, but activity remains stable. Welcome, welcome, one and all, and happy, happy birthday to anyone who's celebrating a birthday today, or maybe you're celebrating a wedding anniversary or celebrating life. We wish you all the best here from all of us at the Sabrina Speaks platform. And in case we overlooked you, we missed you, hey, you just make us know. Send me a WhatsApp and I'll be more than happy to shout you out, share the love with all of our friends and family here on this platform. And of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families of those who are mourning the loss of a loved one from all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks platform. Good evening, Marshall. How you doing? It is so good to have you in with us, sending that North Carolina love. Very special belated happy to you and Mr. Eric. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I was blown away at all of the love shown to us yesterday and on Saturday, sorry. And I must say from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for sharing that with us. I wanted to just be out and open and up people's faces. I'll do that with other people, but for me, it's just a little different. I just enjoy doing it. But yeah, so I want to just personally thank from both of us. Thank you for all of your comments, your prayers, and the calls and the messages that we got. And we really do appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. I'm better at doing this for other people, you know. I'm really, really good at doing this for other people. But when it comes to yourself, I don't like the attention at all. But no, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Yeah. So thank you, Connie Bonnie, girl. Jimbo, where is Jimbo today? Where is that bugger? And thank you for sharing the flower of the day. Connie Bonnie is on the ball. There we go. Connie shares with us today our flower of the day. Kiss call them Banda orchids. This is a Banda orchid. They're beautiful. Connie, let me tell you something. Oh gosh, you are just amazing with all of these different orchids, and they're so beautiful. Yeah. So for all of my plant lovers out there, this is a regular thing here on the Sabrina Speaks. We got other people that are weighing in as well, sharing their flowers. But Connie has taken up the responsibility. Just call them Vanda orchids. Okay. Vanda orchids. Yes. Vanda, not Brenda. Vanda orchids is what they're called. Thank you so much. Yeah, we got other people that are sharing the love as well with their flowers, and it's just something. It just sets the mood. I think it is. It's very good that you guys are just taking this on, and people are catching on. Well, we're here for you as well as we showcase them with all of our love. Yes. Good evening, my sweet Marshall. Aliano, how are you? How did the weekend treat you, my love? How's that foot coming along? Are you making sure you're adhering to everything that you're supposed to be doing? Got to keep a check on you. Either that or we're going to find out. We're going to do, I could get Miss Melita to find out who that girlfriend is so we can have some serious talk with her so we keep you in line. You declared your girlfriend was stuck in traffic. So we go find out. We go put out an APB to find out who this girlfriend is, and we just make sure that she keeps you in line. Damian Henry, good evening. Happy Monday to you as well. What is your What is your message for today? Damien says, every morning you have two choices: continue to sleep with your dreams or wake up and chase them. OMG. Yeah, that's good. Good. Thank you. Thank you so much. We can put so much spin on that one, Damien, but poor us, some of us don't have no knees. Some of us can't run, and it all depends. Some of us may want to run the opposite direction, just to put a little humor in that for today. But I get the concept. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your loyalty and dedication in sharing this. But some of them dreams, we just try to wake up from, run the opposite direction. But that's just a little light humor here on this Monday afternoon as we wait for our guests to come in studio. And I'm so happy that it will be showcasing some, we're going to get to you. We're coming to you. But thank you, Damien, for being a real superstar here on the platform. Thank you again. And yes, this is where Miss Connie says, just call them Vanda orchids. Yeah. It is lovely, lovely, lovely. Let's go, guys. Yeah, she's encouraging people. If you got a flower of the day and just tell me what it is, I'd be more than happy to just show it here. And likewise, if you want to just celebrate life, just we dedicate at least the first half hour of our show, unless there's something breaking, and we just lighten it up a little bit before we get into the topics at hand. And if we have guests, you can expect them from like around 5:30 onwards. And of course, you know how it goes on a Friday. It's open mic Friday here on Sabrina Speaks. Yes, Aliano says, what? All up in my business like CIA. You let it out. We cannot get it into your business unless you said so. You said so. Yeah, but we up in your business. But I know I got put my Nancy Drew on that. We got put Melita on that one. Inspiring. Oh, we're sending you lots of love. Inspiring is saying, I'm depressed today. I'm hoping that, we can see these flowers and hopefully that they cheer you up, Inspiring. And whatever is getting you down, please know that nothing lasts forever and that you just take it in strides and, just take it one moment at a time. Just hope it's nothing major. But the mere fact that you're feeling down, you're feeling depressed today is not, we all go through our lows. We have those days where we're just low and, you can't shake it out. But we're here. We're thanking you for joining us, Inspiring. And we're hoping that by the end of this episode that we will be able to uplift your spirits and just let you feel so much better for tuning in, because we're all here on this platform. And whatever it is you're going through, that make Inspiring, that it doesn't chart the course for your future and it does not last forever. So our thoughts and prayers with you. And we're sending you virtual love, hugs and love. We're sending you virtual love and whatever it is you're going through, just exhale and breathe it through and take it one step at a time. Yeah. Aliano is saying the foot is okay. Just one more week. So happy for you. In no time that'll be passed. Just make sure you adhere, Aliano, to all of the instructions that are given to you. And you make sure now that you follow everything that is being told. Yes, Connie sharing the thanks as well to Damien Henry for sharing those words of encouragement and inspiring us today and every day, actually. Damien has made that his chore. Dean, good evening. You hear anything about the fish market court case? I haven't heard anything about it. I'm not so sure, but we'll, of course, if we hear anything, hold on, let me see the channels. Nope, nothing yet. But if we get it, let's say if it pops up and I get it, we will definitely report on it for you. But keep it locked on the CMR platform. We will definitely be giving you all the latest update on that and many more as well. You know that big discussions right now, again, as we edge closer to May 1st, where the big immigration reform and the new laws and regulations come into force. Yes, please don't go crazy. Various media sources The minister and his staff will be on different media stations, letting us know what's to come and explaining. So I've gotten my hands on the regulations and what it looks like. And I promise you to do it in a shortened segment, maybe 1 or 2 days before, for what it means. And I'll break it down in layman's terms as best as I can. And after that, you pretty much have to, as the instruction says, go on the website and pretty much learn it yourself. Or you go to a qualified professional should you have to navigate these immigration issues, and you ask your questions. But I promise you, I will. Well, y'all got to thank Danny for this. You got to thank Mr. Danny for this. I will break it down in layman's terms what each of them mean, and I will definitely keep you abreast of what's happening. I see you. My guess is coming. Yeah, I guess. Don't log back out. Stay in the background. So yeah. Lisa is in the house. Good evening to you, my sweet. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so good to have you here. And green room, let's see. There we go. Let's see. Soon be with you. Soon be with you. Lisa is in the house. Please tell the person to take the depression, to take it to God in prayer. Yes, Lisa, thank you for that. Yeah. And just realize that, everything, we all go through those, Lisa. And this is not cliche. It's not tongue in cheek. I'm no professional by any stretch of the imagination. But to tell you that I haven't been there myself, yeah. And you really, what helps for me, there's just some times you need to be by yourself. And then there's just times the prayers of total strangers. Sometimes you just need to just vent, offload, exhale, nobody to tell you what to do because we don't know what the source is. Sometimes you just feel in a stupor. And yeah, but it all depends on what relationship you have with the higher power, the universe, whatever it is that you deal with. And you just take it one day at a time. But for me, what helps is that when I go through those phases that I get down, I like to really be by myself. And then you're very selective, of course, with who you let into that space, Lisa, and to inspiring. And it's not any and everybody you can pour your heart out to, or even those who can understand. So I'm very cautious with that as well. Yes. Connie is also sending, it is well inspiring, sending you love, hugs, and more hugs. Yes, well, we have our guests that are lingering in the background in the virtual studio. I'm so excited for this, for all of you who are joining us here on the Sabrina Speaks this Monday afternoon. We're going to be putting the spotlight on 2 young Caymanians who are building business, yes, and shaping the future of technology and workforce readiness right here in the Cayman Islands. I am so excited to be welcoming and being able to put the spotlight and showcase these 2 gentlemen. Are you ready? Just show me a thumbs up if you're ready. That's one of you. Oop, I see. Yeah, you want to pull down Adonai. Mr. Rochez, you want to pull down your camera just a tad bit before I bring you into the virtual studio. Oh, there you popped up like one of those things that you wind up. I see you. You just pulled up like a jack in the box on me there for a second. Okay, so I'm going to bring my guests into the studio this evening as we showcase these 2 fine gentlemen. And welcome to the Sabrina Speaks platform. Let's bring in the studio. Hey, gentlemen, how are you? Welcome.
Hey, good afternoon.
It is a pleasure to have you here with us. Now, we have joining us on the Sabrina Speaks this evening, Alexander Powell and Adonai.
Yeah.
Rochez. Yes, Adonai Rochez. I got it. And they are leading the movement to close the AI knowledge gap through a community initiative called Cyber Sandbox. Now, these 2 gentlemen are going to tell us more about this as we get to learn more about them. And what this is pretty much a series from what I researched on, dug up on you guys, because I showcased you in my new segment once. And it is a series of public sessions designed to help Caymanians understand how artificial intelligence can solve real problems, improve efficiency, and even unlock new opportunities. And their message, from what I'm understanding, is very bold. Small islands can compete globally in AI, but only if our people are equipped with practical hands-on literacy. Now, gentlemen, 16 and 17, I am so proud of you guys for realizing this gap, willing to impart your knowledge, and here you are in this collective movement and for the opportunities that you are. But welcome to our show. It is a pleasure to have you here. And if you want to do a light intro, this is your moment. Please tell us a little bit about yourselves individually. Alex?
Well, yeah, I'd be happy to go first. Can you hear me okay?
Sure, I can hear you.
All right, perfect. So, as you all have heard, my
Audience.
name is Alexander Powell. And yes, I am extremely fascinated with AI and technology as a whole. And that is why I have decided to go through with assisting Adonai on this project and on this initiative, because I believe that if I can share my fascination with technology with everyone else, then everyone else will be more comfortable with wanting to learn from it. And if we're all more comfortable with learning from it, then I believe that we will be able to be stronger as a community, and we will be able to actually keep our foothold in every industry that we have currently, and we won't be left behind in the future.
Adonai, let's give us this here from you.
Hey, good afternoon. Can you hear me fine?
I can hear you fine, and we
All
don't
right.
have anything saying otherwise from those who are streaming us live.
All right, perfect. Yeah. So my name is Adonai Rochez, and I'm 17. And yeah, I'm a young Caymanian, also an aspiring entrepreneur, and as well, I guess, in the scene of business. And
Mhm.
my main thing that's been driving me is a sense of community. From a very young age, thanks to my mother, she has ingrained to me to always give back, whether through church or simply through community initiatives here or in Honduras.
Mhm.
And which has been, I guess, the driving force in the financial literacy initiatives I've been involved in, and now as well the AI literacy initiatives, because it's quite clear, it's crystal clear to us that you know, that we have the capability to actually compete globally.
Mhm.
And this is evident, in the financial service industry that is a bedrock to our society, and we compete globally, not just regionally, but globally. And
Right.
I don't see why innovation technology cannot be a new pillar in our economy. Currently, we have two mainly, which is financial services and tourism. And
Mhm.
I can't see why we can't have a third one. So yeah.
Right. No. Well, I'm going to just take us back a little bit, just take a little back a little bit. Both of you right now are doing things most people don't even attempt to do until their late 20s or 30s. So what sparked your interest in entrepreneurship so early in life?
Well, if I would have to say, if you don't mind me going first,
No, I don't.
is mainly, I know this might sound a bit crazy, but my spark was ignited when I met Adonai as a friend. He came to school one day. I didn't know who he was,
Mhm.
and I was in the cafeteria. I was alone waiting for my mother because she worked at the school at the time,
Mhm.
and I was waiting for her, and I saw him, and we greet each other. I thought he was a grown man, if I'm being
Oh.
honest. And so we talked for a bit. We introduced ourselves to each other. Then we played basketball, and then from there, as we spoke more, as I spoke to him more, I became much more knowledgeable, but I also understood the idea of having passion and the
Right.
idea of wanting a goal, wanting to achieve a goal so badly that you'll do anything to achieve it. And
Mhm.
through that inspiration that he has given me, and through all of the opportunities that I have been able to connect with, thanks to him, that is what has ignited my spark in wanting to be able to be independent and be able to do things on my own terms and to be able to be an entrepreneur to make this world a better place is because he is my inspiration. And I just hope that him and I can continue to do better things for this world and
Mhm.
especially for our island and our people.
Mhm. Adonai.
Yeah, well, thank you, Alex. It means a lot. But for me, I guess what has been my driving force into becoming an entrepreneur, or an aspiring one at least. I'm hyper competitive from a very young age. Me and my uncle, he's been instrumental in my growth, personally and professionally. And
Hmm.
something that we always used to do is play video games. And from then, and I mean, he has videos, and he could even tell you himself. I've always hated the fact of losing,
Right.
coupled with my mom's sense of community, it was the perfect mix. And
Hmm.
so my I guess my driving force is I've always wanted to be better. I never liked the thought of losing, and I've always wanted to give back. So it was just by a coincidence that my passion for business can actually bring change, impact to my community, and not just from a local standpoint, but from a global standpoint as well. Bringing, I guess, a light to what a young Caymanian can do, and as
Hmm.
well a small nation can do.
Right. So you guys not making your age stop you, or anything. You're not like, I'm waiting. I'm not going to wait until adulthood. I'm going to start now.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
There was there was nothing that was going to stop you from doing that. You just went ahead with it, and you obviously got the support.
Of
Yep.
course.
So, who or what shaped your mindset around, let's say, leadership or innovation, growing up, that just thrust you into this? There's one thing about having it from deep within, but who or what shaped your mindset around leadership, business, and even innovation?
If
Do you have any
Uh,
mentors that
hmm,
you could think of that really pushed you, or just is just a seed that's within you?
I
well,
think Adnan should
I
go on first on this one.
Yeah, I think yeah. Well, I guess I'm giving them a free shout out here, but yeah, there's definitely a few that come to mind. I mean, I have a long list, but yeah, I guess I'll start with a bit about myself and actually the journey of where
Hmm.
my whole, I guess, business side came out. So I was like 14, I believe, yeah, around then when I started my first LinkedIn account,
Hmm.
and yeah, I connected with a few, I guess, accounting partners, or one was a director and the rest were the partners. Their names are Nico Whitaker, Kevin Brent, and then Mike Minoso and Baron Jacobs. So two are from KPMG, and the other two are from EY, which all four now I'm really close with, and I've actually done deals with in junior achievement, and they have been amazing support to me. And it started from there. Then I met with Stephen Price through Mr. Mike Minoso, and we started a financial literacy initiative together, raised six figures, giving back to the community a lot. He's a wealth manager from
Hmm.
RBC. He's
Hmm.
one of the biggest in terms of assets globally for RBC. He manages billions. He's also another Caymanian, generationally Caymanian,
Right.
and yeah. Then recently through Junior Achievement Program, I've been introduced to many people in the hotel industry. Mr. Virgil, to name one, he's the area sales director for Kimpton Indigo. Alex had a privilege of meeting him as well, through me for breakfast. And then I met with another gentleman named Jason Butcher, who's a serial entrepreneur, a very successful guy, and he's also an investor in my initiatives I'm doing for profit and nonprofit as well.
Hmm.
And yeah, but so I was privileged enough to have the, I guess, the thought process that I don't know everything and I will never
Right.
know everything.
Hmm.
So I sought out the knowledge to gain as much knowledge as I can. And then additionally, going back to what I was previously saying, I've always had the, I guess using your words, a seed to want to do more. And
Good.
you know what? If anybody that's listening or anybody that ever hears this, I want to say that I I am by I'm not special at all. I feel fear. I'm shy and I'm anxious. Alex can tell you all the time, like there's some days I just don't want to do it. Like I don't want to present or I don't want to do something, but I
Oh,
still do
wow.
it.
You could never
Yeah,
tell.
yeah, no, yeah. I like so it's about I think personally it's about having discipline. So it's about doing something when you don't want to do it. I think
Right.
that's what's gonna and you know what? I think that builds character, meaning that
Hmm.
deep down inside you know what you're capable of,
Right.
and it's about being honest with yourself. You got to be honest with yourself.
Hmm.
Like if you're cheating or if you're slacking off and you're not doing the work, you know God knows, you knows, and
Hmm.
another thing is God. Me and Alex, we're both Christian, um, and that's something that's also played a big part, I guess, in our growth
Oh,
is
wow.
our faith.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I am by no means perfect. I think I'm far from perfect. Alex probably knows me, that she probably knows me the best, one of the best, out of everybody in my entire life, and he knows I'm far from perfect, and it's only through God that I'm here. My life. I come from a broken home, so my life could have came many many different ways. So
Mm,
I don't want people thinking that, like, oh look, he comes from privilege or whatever.
humble
No,
beginnings.
yeah, yeah. Look, I think if I can do it, anybody can do it. The clothes that I'm wearing right now, I bought for myself. So,
Oh,
so it's like I think anybody can do it. It's just a matter of being honest with yourself and having faith in the Lord that He will provide. Because you know what, He's been my strength when I've been absolutely weakless and broken. It's been very daunting. It's been a very humbling process. And that's life. Life is a process. Sometimes
hmm.
you win, sometimes you lose. You can't win them
Yeah.
all, but you got to push through them all.
Okay. You going to weigh in on that, Alex?
Oh, yeah. I just want to say that for me, I can echo a lot of Adonai's points, but my main driving force, my main inspiration that has pushed me to be where I am today, I would have to say is my father.
Mm,
And of course, he has his flaws, but he is a great man. And he had a transformation through Christ that
mhm.
it deeply inspired me because it happened when I was young. And when it happened, it showed me that anything is possible through the Lord Jesus Christ. And
Right.
he's my rock, he's my strength. So, and I especially get very nervous. I suffer from great self-doubt, but it is always the Lord who helps pick me up and helps me push through to be able to do the things that I want to do, especially considering the initiatives that I've been a part of, because it is quite daunting to be in a room with these professionals, but I have people who support me, and I have the man that I look up to the most, who has always shown me to never back down. He has never once shied away from if a celebrity wants to press him, if a businessman wanted to press him, nobody could ever press him. And
Mhm.
that always spoke to me because he's such a great symbol of strength for me. And I've
Mhm.
always wanted to emulate that. I've always wanted to be like that. So that is what has allowed me to be able to continue to speak to these very successful men, to continue to connect with them, and to continue to pursue what I want to push onto my country and onto the world.
Mhm. Well, it's just inspiring to beyond words that I'm here engaging in a very high level engagement with 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds who have been welcomed into an environment, who've been given an opportunity with persons that could possibly be their great grandparents. And the mere fact that you're doing this from a perspective of strong biblical belief, you're actually speaking it in a way that you don't have to be born with a golden spoon. What I'm getting from you, have to have the drive, have that faith, and believe in yourself in itself. You can see by the comments that are coming in here. Miss Dorothy is saying amen. Inspiring, who is saying, wow, these two young men are so inspiring. God is good. I needed to hear these testimonies today. It'll all make sense once you go back and you watch this podcast, why that inspiring person made that comment. You look back at it after the interview is done. And Lisa is also saying, listening to these two young men, they are very inspiring. God bless them continually. Damien is saying, good to see two young individuals with their heads screwed on. And I must say, you don't know what's going through my mind as I'm engaging here with you, because I'm so happy that I was able to accommodate your parents' requests and thank them for giving you the permission as well. But not to take away from the generalized thing, because we want to get to know more about you. And Alex, I'm going to be coming to you as well. But Adonai, your your junior achievement company that you alluded to earlier, that went from a few $100s, as you said, to either 5 or 6 figure revenue in months. Walk us through that growth and what actually happened behind the scenes. I'm quite sure those numbers must have blown your mind.
Yeah, look, It's definitely been an amazing journey with the junior achievement. Yeah, I guess I'll tell you a little bit about it. So last year, I was also part of the program. I won Company of the Year, President of the Year. The award's actually back there, and it's looking like I may or may not win that again. But yeah, so it started with I think November, December. We basically just started to get to know each other, the team. So there's just eight of us,
Hmm.
and we would basically doing icebreakers, get to know each other, determining our business plan, how we're going to approach this, and essentially by January we started closing deals. So by January we decided, well, mainly driven by me, we decided that we are going to take a B2B model, which is a business to business model. So we were going
Hmm.
to essentially sell to businesses instead of the traditional customer base. And to be quite honest, this was very daunting for us, and even our advisors too. They were like, well, this is very unconventional, and is not the safest route, in terms of, I guess, making money. And they're right. It wasn't. It was very, very risky. But it's about creating the type of model that where
Hmm.
it takes away that risk and
Hmm.
it still creates that, I guess, that margin where it makes sense to do it. And our margins are absolutely, exceptional. Our
Hmm.
business margins are amazing. And
Right.
I started with, the hotels, then it went to like the banks, and then it went to um, what it's SEPA, and then accounting firms. So it's been great, and some of these companies are going to turn to long term partnerships. Like Kimpton Indigo, he introduced me, the guy, the aerospace director. He introduced me to my investor, who's backing me with my AI literacy initiative, and then my other initiative that's an extension of Junior Achievement, where essentially the concept is to give restaurants or companies that have high foot traffic free
Hmm.
bags, and on these bags would have companies that are paid to be featured on there and would basically act as an advertisement for them. And so essentially they will get a free product, and obviously in the hospitality industry and in the restaurant industry as well,
Right.
every single margin counts. So just removing this in terms of from an operational standpoint, it's beneficial.
Yeah.
And essentially that we're going to be charging, we still haven't decided on the exact number, but you could do the math. A couple of dollars for just one times a couple thousand, a
Hmm.
day, in terms of the orders, because in Cayman we're a very consumer based economy.
Correct.
So even Domino's alone probably does 1,000 a day, between their, or 1,000 or two between their locations. So when you take that all into account, it's honestly just going to be amazing. And yeah,
Hmm.
so junior achievement has been a crazy road for me. I remember telling Alex in the beginning that I wanted to do this crazy number. I actually, our numbers right now, we actually beat um we actually beat last year's regionals, or I think international winner for the junior
Wow.
achievement, and they started with 6 grand, if I'm not mistaken. It was either 4 or 6 grand when I looked up the report, and we started
Right.
with like $200 and something dollars. So if I knew you started 6 grand, I mean, I think
Yeah.
I'll be a lot further. But yeah,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, and I say that not to boast about myself or about my accomplishments, but just to say that, you know, if I can do it, which is one of the reasons why I'm here. If I can do it, I don't see why, you know, somebody's listen to this can't.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think anybody is able to do it, and it's about having the faith. I
Yeah.
I could tell you a story of about me doing stuff and boast, but at the end of the day, all that was given through the Lord. The
Right.
Lord, it always, it to I don't want to sound like a preacher here, but it always comes back to the Lord, and understanding that he's in control of everything, and whatever happens, it's because it was designed that way. And the only thing now, that's not to say to not work hard. Work hard,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
work
It's a.
hard.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay. Now, Alex, you've been building your foundation in business and real estate, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you learning right now that's shaping your long-term vision? What are you getting out of it? Yeah, long term.
Well, there's there's quite a bit, but currently the main things I'm looking at right now are the current state of land in
Hmm.
Cayman and how we can implement AI
Hmm.
into this sector, into this industry. And
Hmm.
of course, the AI part is still a great work in progress because it is not easy to figure out how to automate face-to-face interactions. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to look at different angles and poke around to see what I can figure out. But
Mm-hmm.
currently, the main thing that I'm the most concerned about is the fact that Cayman is a very, very, very small island nation. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
there are smaller, but Cayman is most definitely among one of the smallest and also
Correct.
among one of the most compact. We are running out of land as is, and
Mm-hmm.
land is becoming far too expensive. Now, this affects both parties in real estate and civilians because as land becomes more valuable, then everyone's going to start to not be able to afford it. And as less and less people are able to afford land, then real estate agents start to lose business.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm starting to lean into researching agriculture a bit more because I feel like we could profit as a society, we could
Mm-hmm.
profit a lot more if we used AI and automation and combined it with vertical farming onto our smaller pieces of land in order to allow us to actually produce
Mm-hmm.
goods to produce produce because
Mm-hmm.
we are currently surviving off of imported goods.
Mm-hmm.
And as for real estate, that would be selling the land required to do that. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the land that we have free up in East End is protected or is not viable because it's rock. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe that right now, strongly feel like we should revise our current strategy and how we are allowing our infrastructure to develop. Because
Mm-hmm.
I strongly believe that we should stop allowing so many grand developments to take place. Because not only is there a housing crisis, but
Mm-hmm.
as I mentioned before, there's a produce crisis, referencing our imported goods.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be able to help there, and I'm still learning how to do it, but we need to all come together, and we also need to have the government as well in on this to figure out how we're going to actually fix this problem.
Okay, very well said. And both of you are then joined together because what brings you together is the AI approach of doing, even though it's separate businesses, what brings you together is the AI approach, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you, this is for both of you, and either one of you can wait, or we would like to hear from both of you. What's the hardest lesson? Because both of you are entering entrepreneurship, but what's the hardest lesson entrepreneurship has taught you so far?
I
You
can,
wanna go
I can,
first?
yeah, I'll speak on this. I feel like the hardest lesson and probably the most simple one, at least for me,
Yeah.
is the fact that you have to do it because it's very easy to say that it's very easy to spit out your ideas. It's very easy to understand what has to happen. It's
Mm-hmm.
very easy to understand the material,
Mm-hmm.
what the state of the island. But the hardest thing is to actually go ahead and do it. You know, I've been
Ah.
struggling with this as well. I want to do so many things. I want to help this island in so many ways. But I am I'm nervous that I don't know enough or that I don't have the right backing for it or that I won't be able to
Mm-hmm.
present it properly and that
Mm-hmm.
limits me. But as I grow older and as I mature, I start to grow out of that and I feel like that will also translate further into other areas of my life as I grow older because it's the idea of discipline, like what Adonai said. You need to have discipline. You need to be able to wake up in the morning and go to work. You need to be able to get up in the morning and work on your project. You need to be able to go through with what you want to do if you truly want to make change, if you truly want to be successful, because nobody can achieve anything if you don't do anything. It's extremely simple, but that is the foundation of quite literally anything that you'll do in your life. And that is what has been the hardest lesson for me.
Okay. Oh, wow. Next. No, he set the bar for you. Let's see how you're going to bring it home.
Yeah, I mean, look, I completely agree with Alex, and kind of just want to echo that a bit.
Yeah.
A lot of people have ideas. A lot of people do, but not a lot of people have the ability to execute. So
Mm-hmm.
it's about taking a thought
Mm-hmm.
to actually action. So before I tell you my hardest lesson, I just want to kind of echo that for a bit here. which is the world is changing, the world is adapting, and by no means I want to fearmonger anybody, but the days of the traditional route, working degrees and then becoming, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
a family man or family woman,
Mm-hmm.
and then getting a mortgage and so on and so on. That's something of the past. Like what Alex was saying here, we have a house crisis, and we're being priced out of our own housing market, which is absolutely insane. But just to kind of simple that down, I think the people that are going to win are going to be the people that are able to adapt, have good critical thinking, and then have the ability to connect with humans. And that can be translated in almost any domain. So whether you want to be a business person, go in the medical field, whatever that may be, you would dominate in that particular sector. But for me now, to answer your question, what is the hardest lesson that I've ever, I guess, been taught or faced in the space of
And
entrepreneurship?
entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Which, and to answer, it's very, very simple. So it's not something that's very complex. It's like what I'm saying, not giving up, and then actually doing it. So it's this sounds very, very simple, but oftentimes things are very, very simple, but just we overcomplicate it.
Mm-hmm.
And which is what happens typically, in life. We typically overcomplicate the process. But like what
Right.
Alex was saying, like what Alex was saying here, it's about getting up, doing the work. So I'll tell you a story as well, because again, I'm a Christian, so I like parables. So I like stories. And so like this weekend, I went on a Duke of Edinburgh expedition. I did over
Mm-hmm.
44,000 steps, and I had about a 50-pound backpack, and my shoulders were aching me the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
For the 2 days, I camped there, and we had no electronics, and we cooked our own food there. Every single time that I put on that backpack, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to give up. I like every single fiber of my being was
Mm-hmm.
saying, "Give up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do this. You know you can't do this."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I'm not a quitter. I'm not giving up. Because I'm not gonna set the standard for myself. Because this is where you have to be honest with yourself. I'm not gonna set the standard for myself where I allow myself to quit. I'm not a
Mm-hmm.
quitter." And so what I did was, instead of not only quitting, I made sure that I was the first person ahead of our group. I knew that, look, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this to the best of my ability. I'm not only not gonna quit, I'm gonna do the best as I can, and I'm not gonna
Right.
give myself anything less than the best.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about having that tenacity. It's about having that resilience where you know that no matter what comes in front of you, you're not going to give up. Like for me, even for my junior achievement businesses, I got a bunch of no's. So you only hear about the yeses, but the no's were also a lot more than the yeses.
Yeah.
So it's about understanding that you're gonna get no's, you're gonna face crippling self-doubt a lot, and with that, knowing that God is with you, and most importantly, whatever happens, end of the day, the main focus should always be your faith.
Mm-hmm.
So business, obviously, money is very, very important for our day-to-day life. You know what I mean? To buy a house, to make sure your kids have health insurance, for every single thing. Our world has essentially been built off of what can you do for me? What can I do for you?
Mm-hmm.
But it's more so of giving God the glory. You know what I mean? What can we do for him? And you know what? And that's and I think if people take that approach, even in something as simple as or well, not simple, but even something as relationships, if you look at it as what can I do for this for for my wife or my girlfriend or my significant other,
Mm-hmm.
and if the other person looks at it that way, the relationship is going to it's going to flourish
Mm-hmm.
because you're not looking in for what's in it for me.
Right.
And obviously this takes maturity, right? This takes time because this, I guess, if epiphany doesn't come overnight. It's something that even if I say it, a lot of people may or may not understand until you actually live it. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the experiences, you know, come through time. So the stuff that I know, obviously I've told Alex a lot. He's lived through a lot of things with me as well, but it's about putting yourself out there.
Right.
And because again, I believe it or not, I don't. I'm actually very, very shy, meaning that like I don't like doing stuff like sometimes publicly. Like if it was up to me, I would just be with Alex and my other best friend Gavin and my other best friend Joa, and
Right.
on the beach and eating some Grape True Cafe. Like
Uh-huh.
I
I
if it was up to me, I'd be eating some my fish and just chilling. You know what I mean? Like,
uh-huh.
but at the end of the day, the work has to get done. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Hmm. Wow. Have any of you in your short tenure of entering the entrepreneurial space made any mistakes that you've actually grateful that you've made early? Have there been any trip ups, any things that that you're actually happy that it happened early, but it didn't deter you?
Oh,
I
you
say
want to go
Adna
first?
should go. You
Okay,
go
okay,
ahead.
okay. Yeah, I made a lot of mistakes, and but I guess the ones that come to mind right away is one. I think in a lot of cases I've been led on.
Mm-hmm.
So I've now learned discernment, or I've now have the ability to determine if somebody's wasting my time or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I was telling Alex, when you're in sales or when you're putting yourself out there, you quickly learn if somebody's actually interested or somebody is wasting your time or not.
Right.
So I think that's something that I'm proud, or well, not only proud, but I'm happy that I learned. You know what I mean? At the time, it obviously kind of, I don't want to say broke my heart, but you know what I mean. It was very deterring, and it was honestly extremely disappointing on my end, where it was like, oh,
Right.
I put so much time into this, but nothing came out of it. But again, that's life.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is, I would say, again, I started at 14, 13, 14. So I've been interested in investing. So I've been investing since like 11 or 12, but I started networking at 13 or 14. So you can imagine now, as a 13 or 14-year-old, not knowing exactly what they're
Exactly.
doing,
Yeah.
there's a lot of hiccups, as you say, in terms of very very simple stuff. I'm very embarrassed to say this, but grammar and just approaching people. So these are all things that now have been tailored, have
Right.
been obviously fixed, and how I talk to people and how I approach people, my messages, how I dress, all these things I'm happy I've learned, because if I didn't,
Oh, wow.
I think in my 20s and 30s it would be a lot harder, because I
Yeah.
won't just be a kid anymore. I'll be a grown adult.
Correct. And they
But
would expect you to come with certain standards, and you've gotten this from a very early age.
exactly. But even for the adults that are listening to this, and even if they have never got that experience, I still think that they should go ahead, because the best time to start is now.
Mm-hmm.
There's never a best time. Like, there's never, oh yeah, this is the perfect window to do something. That illusion doesn't exist. That's
Mm-hmm.
just some sort of sediment that is there to assure you and comfort you,
Mm-hmm.
to essentially just make you do nothing. And you know what? And I'll be honest with you, not being an entrepreneur, business owner is not for everybody. Meaning that the you don't necessarily get a day off. Like, in most days you are working 7 days a week, or most cases are you're working 7 days a week. You're constantly on the clock. You're doing emails every single hour. You're thinking of different solutions to an infinite amount of problems that just keep occurring. And so it's
Welcome
like,
to life.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, you look, like, being a business owner and entrepreneur is honestly not for the weak, and not everybody is meant to be a business owner and entrepreneur. We need
Wow.
doctors. We need people that are going to be, paving the road. We need people that are actually. Society doesn't operate on one single personality, one single person. It operates on having a diversified melting pot, which is exactly what Cayman has been, and which is why Cayman has been so successful. Cayman now. Notice how I didn't say Caymanians. Now that's something
I did.
else.
I picked it up. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so Cayman has been extremely successful, and something me and Alex talked about as well. But I think we're getting to an era or a time where Caymanians will become successful, and I'm speaking it into existence, because this is something that, if it's the last thing I do, I will do it. I'm a big believer, which is why I've invited Alex to so many different things. Is because it's about carrying the people along with you to the
With
journey, right?
you.
It's about, exactly, it's about uplifting people. And you
Mhm.
know what you tend to notice is that by you helping other people, they tend to help you. Meaning that, I give an example with me and Alex. By Alex having, gained certain experiences, you know, and then obviously through our conversations, because we talk basically every day. Obviously, it's gotten a bit less because through exams, but we still talk every day.
Yeah.
Um, Even like sometimes, again, I don't know everything, so even when I'm struggling with something, he has the ability to help me. Now, versus if he never got those experiences, he'd
Mm-hmm.
probably be less equipped.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about being selfish and being like, yeah, these are mine, 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 mine. It's about helping the community
Each
because
one help one.
exactly, because you're not the because it's about the whole, right? And it's about making sure that every single part of that whole is strong. Because if it's just one part, then it's very easy to destroy.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Alex, any mistakes that you're happy you may have stumbled upon and stubbed your toe earlier in?
I believe that one of my biggest ones is I'm glad that I stayed in someone's shadow or a few people's shadow for
Mhm.
many years, because once I got out of once I got out of the shadows, it taught me the value of believing in oneself and in trusting the Lord, which is
Mm.
the main reason why I can do the things that I do today. Because for
Mhm.
all my life, I've always been afraid, oh, what if I'm not good enough? Oh, what if I can't do this? What if I can't do that? So
Mhm.
instead of, I took the wrong approach. Instead of trying to improve myself, I simply lowered or raised my level
Mhm.
to, similar to that of another person, so that not only would I not stand out, but I would just be able to get away with being mediocre. And as I grew up, as I matured, as I slowly got out of that, I realized how much mistake that was and how glad I was that I did that, because now I don't do that. Now I want to do what I want to do. I want to be able to achieve the goals that I want to achieve, to the grades that I want to get. I want to do the things that I want to do, and I want to make sure that I don't compare myself to anyone else, and that everything that I do, I can do to my best and
Mhm.
no one else's. And another, the biggest one by far, is when I decided to, I would say, when I blatantly decided to go against the Lord's teachings.
Mhm.
Because when I had that experience, it didn't break me at all, but it built me back when I had
Mhm.
that experience and when that happened to me, because I learned the value of God's love, and I learned I learned the strength that He
Mhm.
holds, not just in our lives but in general. And it showed me that in his infinite mind, he's always planning ahead. And there is always something that he knows that you don't. You can never ever know more than him. You can never be certain of anything at all. Because a good thing that you think is good
Mhm.
can be blown away in an instant. And if you put too much stock in it, it will truly break you if you don't have faith in the Lord, if he's not your rock and your fortress. So yeah.
You two men are just so, so much a breath of fresh air. You are so inspiring. You're such a solid confirmation that there is so much hope for our young men and women in even a small island developing state. Just how you come on, how you present yourself, how you're articulating. It just says that you guys honestly are a breath of fresh air. And anyone who thought that, it's done, oh, we done, oh, the future's gone, oh, Lord, it ain't gonna be nothing to me. That type of I'm trying to get into to some little drama classes here now. But I applaud you guys for your maturity, for just you're speaking from the foundation of who we are as a Cayman society. Remember, I didn't
Mhm.
say Caymanian. Yeah, you see, I catch on. Yeah, as a Cayman society, what we are built on, and what I'm getting from all of this is that we have to do it with a good heart. Each one help one. Believe in yourself. Put God first in all that you do. But most of all, find that strength and that ambition into yourself. Before we go in and hear a little bit more, to let us break down what cyber sandbox and AI literacy movement, we get into that segment. I want to make sure that we capture some of the the messages that we are having here from our viewers and listeners, which, by the way, from the UK, we got people all around the region and also as far as Australia that are listening. So just to let you know, so even though they may not be commenting, I'm letting you know they're locked on. Okay, Miss Lucille, who's a part of our UK contingency over there, she said, I just woke up and listening to these young men. If I was at home, I would walk miles just to give them a deep hug. Push on, young men, and don't look back. With God's guidance, love you guys. So that's well wishes from Miss Lucille, and she's over in the UK, and you know it's about 10, 11 o'clock in the night over there. So she stayed up. Yes, the time difference. So yeah, and it's pretty much a different day in Australia as well. So wee hours of the morning. So we got Lisa here, who's also commenting, spiritual things are spiritually discerned. You young Caymanian men are hearing from God, who created human beings and gave wisdom to human beings to build something to help along with life challenges. Live Happy is also saying hello to you this evening. And Damian Hendry is saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Keep doing the best you can. Failure is not final. Miss Dorothy is also over there in the United States, who's a huge supporter here. Miss Dorothy is saying, thank you, Jesus, for these brilliant young men. Keep soaring like eagles. And yes, Damien is saying it's 12:11 a.m. right now in the UK, and he's also in the UK. So to see, we're not limited to 3, 4, 5. So you don't know which business persons may actually see you as well, hoping that, there may be other opportunities presenting themselves. But let's just get into this segment so we can hear more about Cyber Sandbox, right? Let's talk about the Cyber Sandbox, because this is a major part of why you're both here today. What really inspired you to create a public AI literacy initiative?
Yeah. You want to go first, or you want me?
You can go ahead.
Okay. So I guess this coming just from, again, this is very, very simple. I started a financial literacy initiative a couple months before this, and I noticed that we were lacking as a society the financial acumen to navigate through this very complex and becoming more expensive economic landscape in this country, which is, in all honesty, quite infuriating. And I can see how, going back to what you were saying, how I'm really gonna blow up, Cayman go blow up on, my, I can see that. And you know what? I come from a Caymanian family, and worse yet, I come from a Latin family, so I know all about drama. And so,
be careful. Once we're done, you're going back to that
family. Yeah, I know. So yeah, I understand. I understand the sentiment, and so I took it with a grain of salt. And the best type of research in Cayman you can do is speaking to the people. He's speaking to the community, and I understood that Cayman needed financial literacy to be able to afford to live in our society. It's crazy we've been having this conversation to live in our country, our own people, but it's a conversation, needless to say, that's happening and needs to be addressed appropriately. And then the AI literacy, that's something that I noticed went hand to hand with financial literacy. I noticed that the workforce is going to change. It's going to completely change. The times of needing like certain degrees or needing certain people are being done. I can share a graph with you later, but there's this graph that kind of outlines the applied and the theoretical impact that AI is having amongst different sectors.
Yep.
And one of the highest is finance and business, and then it goes marketing, and then it goes everything traditionally. That's basically what is the biggest pillar of our economy. So I noticed very quickly that we have one big point of failure in our country, which is AI. And currently, as a society, we're doing nothing to address this. Same thing with financial literacy. We've done nothing to address the fact that Caymanians can't afford anything. Like we talk about it. Like you're like, yeah, man, this house expensive, lawn expensive. Yeah, we can't afford this. Yeah. All right, talk is cheap. Talk is very cheap. Like, but we need people. So you know what, it starts with one person, but I hope that just by hearing me that it becomes
A
it
norm.
becomes, yeah, not just, yeah, a norm, but it becomes an initiative that anybody can do it, meaning you can stand up and do
Correct.
what is right. It's not about just being me or Alex. It's about we as a country coming together and
Mm-hmm.
doing what's best for our people. And I say that now with the AI literacy initiative, I noticed that we are not being enabled with the proper acumen that is required to dominate. Because to just coast isn't good enough. We have to do really really well. Because Cayman has always and will always compete globally. It doesn't just
Mm-hmm.
compete locally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We compete globally. So the
Mm-hmm.
standards must always be high. So something that I'm wanting to do is doing like an AI literacy course, and then sell it to the masses on the global stage. But then a part of that, I would either through a nonprofit or for profit, depending on the approach. I want it to where we have AI literacy essentially implemented into life skills, because
Mm-hmm.
it is a life skill. Same thing with
Mm-hmm.
financial literacy. It's not a matter of should we have it. It's a matter of we need to have it. How do we
Mm-hmm.
implement it? So yeah, I guess to kind of answer your question in one or two sentences, it came from recognizing a need that needed to be filled,
Mm-hmm.
and if it wasn't going to be me, who was it going to be? Because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really see anybody standing up, raising their hands. Yes, I'm gonna help
Impart
our.
this knowledge. Let's share or what we got. Yeah, with
Yeah,
others.
yeah, exactly. And at least from like a community, or not community, at least from a peer standpoint. So, and I say that I think a big part of I guess from my peer, from what I see, is that, which is perfectly normal. I feel it too. Is the fear of doing something that's gonna embarrass you, or doing stuff that is gonna I guess take you out of your comfort zone. But that's where you
Mm-hmm.
grow. That's where you grow the
Mm-hmm.
most.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times like I've done stuff and I wasn't prepared as best as I could be, but I still did it because I gave
Mm-hmm.
my word, and I'm not a
Mm-hmm.
person that breaks my word. So when I say something, I really do mean it.
Yeah.
And so and I say that not to be like incredibly intense, but oh geez, but
You're something else, you are something else. You know what? I'm not going to do that until you finish speaking because, yes, I just don't want to miss yes. Go ahead. That's
no.
exactly how people are feeling.
Yeah, no worries, no worries, no worries. Yeah, going back to what I was saying. Yeah, and you know what? Going to what that person was saying here, it's about the leadership that we have in our
Yeah.
country, right? Many people can talk, many people can say this, but what I've noticed, and hopefully I don't get in trouble, but even if I do, to be honest, I don't really care. But it's like it's about recognizing that in our elections, it's becoming very Americanized, meaning that stuff, at least from a young Caymanian standpoint, again, this is,
Perspective.
yeah,
Mhm.
perspective. This is just my opinion, so this isn't law, but
Okay. And it doesn't represent the masses. You're just
it
giving your opinion.
yeah, it doesn't represent it. Besides, this is just my opinion here. I think a lot of times politicians, they say stuff for sound bites, and they say and they say stuff to sound good. They don't say stuff to actually. They don't mean it. It's very shallow and doesn't carry depth. It's it is honestly quite unfortunate because we hear it all the time. We hear um Caymanians first, Caymanians in the community, and yes, these are all very
You would
correct.
like to see more action than words in order to
Yeah,
make their words believable, is what I'm getting from you.
100,000,000%.
Don't
Words
just
don't.
say it for a sound, like you said, bite, but what are you going to do? Actionable things to make it believable. And I guess with your age group, as future voters in this country, as entrepreneurs, embracing an industry that people are scared of, and you're still willing to do your foundation on God, and impart what is a God-given talent for you to impart that. You wish you could see more action than just, as you've alluded to, sound bites.
100%, ma'am. I mean, look, I don't want to speak too much more. I want to let Alex speak here. But look, I've seen it time to time again where performative altruism plagues our society. And that, I mean, I have strong feelings toward this, meaning, like I was previously saying, my mom, she taught me from a very young age to give back to the community. So, and not from a performative standpoint, a lot of the stuff that I have done has never hit the press, has never done this. And when I do say, or when I do have something hit in the press, it's from a strategic standpoint, meaning that I'm wanting to do this so more people can actually
Can
benefit from this, not for myself. Meaning, like,
gotcha.
look here, like, a very, I could easily do this. I could work at a law firm or an accounting firm and make a lot of money. I
Hmm.
mean, I could be balling. I could have a very comfortable life working at these firms, and I believe I'll do really, really well. And essentially, just hide away, go on vacation every now and then.
Keep your head
Uh,
down and just deal with you. Hmm.
exactly. But I don't think that I could live, you know, my entire life knowing that I could have done this, but I chose
Oh
not to.
wow.
I was a coward, and I was only looking out for my benefit and my family's benefit. It's
Hmm.
more than that, meaning that, and it's not about me having a legacy. Honestly, I honestly don't really care. It's more so knowing that my community, when I go and when I leave this earth, and is that it's a better place than I left it. You
Wow.
know what I mean? So
Alex, let's hear from you.
I don't think I'll be able to pick up the ball like that, but
No, no, no. You all bring your own unique perspective, but it's factual.
yeah, we appreciate that, of course. And for me, of course, my main driving force behind wanting to create or go through this initiative with Adonai is mainly because I know so many people,
Hmm.
so many of my friends who
Hmm.
have no idea what they actually want to do. And of course, that boils down to a personal decision, but it is to do with a lot of the kind of influence you have around you. And if we don't have more kind of opportunities in this brand new, or yeah, relatively brand new infrastructure, sorry, no, this brand new field that has been
Hmm.
introduced, meaning AI,
AI. Hmm.
then so many people are going to be unemployable because as we progress, and this is a hard truth to stomach, but as Anna said before, the world is changing, and some people may think it's for the better, but many people will argue that it's for the worst. And as AI becomes more widespread than it already is, and as it finds its way to be integrated into almost every industry, your literacy skills in AI will matter the most.
Right.
If we are not and the gearing up our children, the children who are currently in the education system, if we are not
Uh-huh.
currently gearing them up for that future workforce, for those future
Yeah.
areas of work,
That's going to
then
be a reality. Hmm.
that will be a reality eventually. They will be unable to find jobs, or it will be extremely difficult. Because of course there are some jobs that don't require that are impossible to replace
Hmm.
without AI,
Hmm. Hmm.
such as
Hmm.
especially with sports, because it's in such high demand. However, that's only for a very select few people. Then we also have actual physical landscaping, you know, construction as well. However, construction most definitely has the potential to be automated, but I'd give it another 10 years,
Okay.
10, 15 years, because it requires very advanced technology. However, currently there are still many fields, and there still will be fields that we need people in. However, many of the traditional fields that we need people in, especially with
Hmm.
doctors too,
Hmm.
those are going to be destroyed. It's still very important to have human underwriters, of course,
Yeah.
but the way the automation is heading, that will take over almost every facet. So I
Wow.
believe that going through with this initiative with Adonai as extremely important, as we need my friends,
Hmm.
the
Your
children who are in the
generation
current
and moving
education.
forward. Right.
Exactly. Thank you. My generation and moving forward, we need them to be able to be secure for the future and also to be protected,
Yeah.
because we can't forget about AI generative media,
Mm-hmm.
because as that progresses, it is becoming more and more realistic. And of course, if you know what to look for, you won't be deceived by it. However, it becomes increasingly difficult in
Hmm.
order to pick that apart by the months. And
Hmm.
especially with I recently saw an article
Hmm.
about Are you familiar with the AI chatbot Claude?
Yes, I am.
And
And they
yes.
have a platform now where all of these are now together, where one
Hmm.
chat bot is talking to the other. So you don't have
Hmm.
to do multiple subscription. You got Nano
Hmm.
Banana, you got all of them together.
Yes.
That may be 52 almost, but I'm on there. I'm on there. You got Copilot, you got
That's
Gemini, you got all of these other stuff.
yes.
And now they're
Yes.
all interfacing to talk to one another. You got
Hmm.
Perplexity and all of that. But
Hmm.
now they're doing one somebody's just created an app, I think for 19.99, and they got all of these into
Hmm.
one space, and it actually, based on your prompt, will determine which one of the, let's say, 7 or 8 chatbots is best to research, deep dive, all that sort of
Oh
stuff.
wow.
So it's interesting. It
Hmm.
just hit the techno news today. So if you have, let's say, 6 or 7 subscriptions, and you know how you got to speak that language so you can get out of it what you want, that's
Hmm.
one thing. Knowing how to speak so
Hmm.
that it gives you what you're looking for, and double checking. But there's one particular app now that combines about 7 or 8 different chatbots, and Claude is a part of that.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, that is well. I didn't hear about that until you just told me. I need to look more into that. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
I can
But
send you the link afterwards. I'll send you the link.
that'd be amazing. Thank you. But I was going to my what I wanted to say was the what the company that created Claude has brought into the works, not publicly,
Right.
but it's called Mythos, which is Mythos,
Oh,
and it is a the best way to describe it is that it is a hyper advanced infiltration infiltration machine learning model where it is capable of scanning code and finding any sort of weaknesses in that code to
mm,
exploit and use against the system that is trying to infiltrate. And
okay.
that is one of the or when I heard about that, that is what scared me because I
Hmm.
was thinking to myself, if we do not know how to defend against that, if we don't even know what it is
Hmm.
as a people, like in Cayman, if we don't understand any of that, then
Hmm.
how are we supposed to be safe in the near future when
Correct.
technology like that, when AI like that will start becoming more and more public? So that's why I want to go through this initiative more.
Good for you. In your teaching and in your classes, what has been the biggest surprise that you've learned about the public's reaction in your sessions about AI and how we embrace it? What has been one of the biggest surprises you've learned in public reactions and their knowledge around AI?
I would say from what I've seen, their capacity to learn about it,
Ah.
because when we were teaching it, especially in our first session, the one that I did with Adonai, they were able to pick up on it extremely quickly from how we
Mm-hmm.
were explaining it. One group even used AI to create an entire website and a business in order, like for tourism, and another created a structured, automated
Mm-hmm.
I would call it more of an Uber system for Cayman, but it wasn't Uber, it was our own. And
Mm-hmm.
they created that idea just from
Ah.
what we had told them in that session. And that is what really surprised me. I was very
Wow.
surprised with, despite all of the skepticism, despite
Mm-hmm.
all of the people who were so against it, these people were still able to learn from it very efficiently, very
Mm-hmm.
quickly, and apply that knowledge. And I really feel like if they can catch on so quickly, then what's stopping everyone else from doing the same? Because, of
Right.
course, everyone is different, everyone
Mm-hmm.
learns at a different pace. But at the end of the day, it's only as complicated as you make it.
Yeah. Why do you believe AI literacy is essential for our future? And do you think that we can realistically become a leader in AI adoption? What's your take on
Adnan,
that?
you should do this, Adnan. I know he wants to do this.
Oh boy, see,
Uh,
he's like a jack in the box.
so I guess I'll take your question bit by bit. So I mean, to be honest, I think AI is something that's very accomplishable for our country,
Hmm.
meaning that you know, at least from my school of thought, we are such a small nation, but a powerhouse economically speaking. And through our small size, we're able to implement new concepts and new ideas extremely quick and fail really quick and learn from this.
Mm,
So it's about, at least, I think it's coming from the perspective of knowing that it's okay to fail and it's okay to have stuff that it's new. I think culturally speaking, I think that entrepreneurship and implementation of AI literacy and these new
hmm.
things can be very uncomfortable, and this is the reason. Again, comes down to politics and leadership. So I hope I don't step on no toes. But look, I think that once these new courses or learning material comes out, I
Hmm.
think I think it's gonna be a reckoning. I think it's gonna be a
Okay.
reckoning for our people, and a good reckoning, meaning that I think is gonna be a learning experience that that we're gonna have to be extremely
Hmm.
forward thinking. We're gonna have to be you know go getters.
Hmm.
There will be no opportunity to coast anymore, and
Hmm.
you know and I say this now to kind of say something that might be a little bit uncomfortable, but I think is a truth, and I think that should be addressed. And I'm gonna say tactfully to not go anything on speculation, but just purely facts.
Yeah.
So the civil service, um, is like for example, let's start with one that I'm sure many people know. When it comes down to our PR, work permits, a lot of the stuff is actually manually, if not all, is manually done.
Hmm.
So now what happens is that we as a jurisdiction are losing we are losing a competitive edge by doing it manually when competing jurisdictions are doing it through AI
Hmm.
automation,
Hmm.
are
Hmm.
doing it through
A
so many
digital
different.
footprint all around. Hmm.
Exactly. And you know what, time is money, so we're actually losing money. And what's going to happen is when we eventually develop an AI native society, they're going to be people that are going to fall behind, unfortunately, because we as a society have not been, you know, for lack of a better word, go getters. And again, when I say society, I mean mainly our leadership. Because at the end of the day, it always comes down to the leadership. Granted, now there is definitely some self agency involved, but it mainly comes down to our leadership, because those are the people that at the end of the day pass legislation and pass certain things. So you know what, for any political leader hearing this, I urge you to, whether it's through me or through somebody else, to take initiative to make sure that our people are protected from the future. Because what's going to happen is our civil service is the biggest employer on our
Hmm.
island. So what's going to happen when unfortunately, it may or may not happen, but they start getting laid off. No
Hmm.
politician wants that to happen, because majority of people in the civil service are Caymanians. So
Hmm.
it comes down to votes. But you know what? It's about stomaching the truth and preparing our people for a global awakening. Meaning that there's obviously been people are that are for it and they're not for it. There are people that say that it's going to simply amplify your I guess your
It's going to
productivity.
replace them, and they're a
Yeah,
little apprehensive of adapting ways that can make them work more efficient instead of this, as you said, this manual labor, because they're feeling if they're just stamping, rubber stamping, putting square pegs into square holes, triangles into triangles, that, they're going to be out of a job because you can do that by the snap of a finger. But the environment that I'm hearing you all are trying to create by doing your teaching is ensuring that no one is left behind, as you alluded to at the beginning.
100%. Yep.
And people shouldn't be scared of that. And see, I got a question here. They're asking, where can I do an AI course? Is this something that you guys offer? Because you're through Cayman Enterprise City. Just let's see how, because that's how I found out about you. How can people, these courses, how can people, if they don't go online and do it themselves? But speaking about what you guys offer, are you making this available to the public?
Yeah. So for me, so the two main businesses I'm pursuing right now is a promotional bag, which I mentioned, and then an AI literacy program. So yeah, currently I should be hearing back from my contact from which is across the world right now, probably the next couple hours from the teams of it, and in terms of I guess the course and seeing how it should be approached. And yeah, but that's something that we're going to be making public, and we're going to be selling to the public, and because there's a lot of courses out there. There's YouTube, there is LinkedIn, and there's Google. But I what I've seen, which this is not where you identify a void in the market, is it gives a very broad oversight view of what AI is. But what I
Right.
want to do is take people from beginners to builders, meaning that people that don't know anything, might not even know what AI stands for, to
Yeah.
now be able to bring into existence AI products, AI services, or an AI company.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is something that's going to be instrumental, not just for Cayman but globally as a whole, where we have essentially a community, where we have a movement of people coming together, building together, and being able to you know I guess give and take value from one another.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think currently there's nothing that what me or Alex are offering, but there will be something soon, probably by summer. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so in every business, so this is my approach to business. In every single, I guess, aspect, I want to do a for-profit and I want to do a non-profit aspect of it.
Okay.
So with the bag, there's going to be a non-profit aspect of it, and there's going to be a for-profit because again, I'm big on giving back. So yeah.
Exactly. Okay. I just want to get these two, and then we'll go into how you juggle pretty much being a student and entrepreneurs. You can answer that question. Damien is saying here they're speaking with sense better than some of the MPs, and this is the one that I just don't want to miss anything because we're known for making sure that we make everyone voice heard and comments here on their platform. And Connie is saying, and this sad that a young inexperienced Caymanian can recognize. That was when you guys were saying the things about leadership, and you were doing it as respectful as you can, but it is factual. And she was just actually applauding that you still in your teens are being able to recognize this, and that's what she's applauding you for. Now, going in, and we continue with the conversation as we come into the home stretch of this episode of Sabrina Speaks. And I must applaud you guys. We were only going to do half hour, 45 minutes, but it is so captivating. You guys are, and just for the record, nothing is scripted. They have no clue what I was going to ask them. I've done my research. They provided me with some information on themselves. And I came up with some of the questions, and of course, I'm listening to them. So, based on what they're saying, follow-up questions are coming, and they have no notes. They have no clue of what we were going to talk about because this is showcasing them, and it speaks volume at their maturity, their intellect, and how poised they are. So, I can tell you. For what you're hearing from what these two gentlemen are saying here this evening is by way of conviction, and they're speaking their truth. So I applaud you guys for your maturity. I applaud you for your time. I
Thank you.
applaud you for even wanting to come on here. And I get what you're saying, that you don't see you and the tabloids and all that sort of stuff. But for anyone who knows me, I have no issue in showcasing once the space is available, young entrepreneurs like yourselves. And we are very proud of you, but you're still students. How do you balance being students, entrepreneurs, and pretty much even now educators in the space? How do you do all of that? You were out on some venture, and Alex, you were doing you, and oh my gosh, how do you balance?
I think that a great deal of it, and of course, not to toot either of our horns here, but is just our capacity to learn and to maintain. Because, of course, with my exams and such, they're
Yeah.
quite big. These are my ASs. So if I need to pass these to get into my second year of A levels so I can get into a good college. And for me, once I learn the material, I
Yeah.
have to make sure that I go over it once more after I get home. And once I do that, I'm good until exams come around. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to go. Of course, there has been some conflict where I haven't been able to go to certain things, but
Mm-hmm.
on majority, it is just because I was able to learn what I needed to learn
Mm-hmm.
at an appropriate pace to allow me to be able to participate in these initiatives with Adonai. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that, for me at least, that is what has allowed me to
Mm-hmm.
continue going forward with this and to not get too overwhelmed. And also
Right.
because I'm not scared of anything because I have God by my side. The Lord Jesus Christ is my rock, as I said before. And as long as I have him, I'm not worried or stressed about anything, and I just let everything come at me and I give it my best shot.
Cut!
If you get that, that's like getting the golden buzzer. Okay. You guys have said a lot of kaboom moments today, and that has resonated with all of us. But I would be doing that pretty much at all of your what you've been imparting on us. But you guys are just mind blowing. And yes, we share the sentiments here. As Akani is saying, your parents should be very proud of you both. Hats off to you both, and
Thank you.
she's actually applauding you for that. Now, um, yeah, the love is just keeps coming in. Young Caymanian geniuses is what you're being dubbed air as, and I'm looking for bigger, uh, more things to come out from you guys. Is one thing of being showcased on a platform, being in the media, and all of that sort of stuff. But like you rightfully say, you're not worried about that. You're actually action. You're delivering results, and we're going to make sure, and I know based on who reached out to me, they're going to make sure that you keep us locked so that we can get tabs. And as we see you guys develop and as we see you guys grow, but what does the next 12 to 24 months look like for each of you? Aha.
You want to go first, Alex?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
12 to 24 months. So,
12
uh,
to 24. What does the next year or 2 years look like for you guys?
well, I guess the next 12 to 24 months, I'm gonna be focused. So, I guess answering your question, how do I balance my life? I don't. I work unbelievably amount of hours. So yeah, it's not really healthy, but that's the type of sacrifice you have to make. You know what I mean? If you want to be successful, work-life balance becomes it very slowly becomes a fantasy that you wish that you could have. But yeah, I mean, next 12, 24 months, I'm going to be hopefully building off my two ventures, the
Mm-hmm.
AI and the promotional bag, and kind of branching off from there and then focusing on my academics. I do, fairly well in academic speaking. And so that's exactly what I guess my next 12 to 24 months going to be looking like, focusing on building my initiatives, scaling them, and
Mm-hmm.
then giving back to the community and then focusing on my academics. College is still being discussed,
Mm-hmm.
but at least eternally between me and obviously I'll make the decision if I want to go or not. It depends on how the next 12 24 months I guess look like. If
Okay.
if I if I'm building successful enough ventures, then
Fair enough.
I see it maybe not happening.
Okay, well, that's being
Mhm.
bold because you know how much people tertiary study based on where we're going in the traditional way of being successful entrepreneurs. This is not by any stretch of the imagination throwing it under the bus by getting a degree because you need those skills, but it's not all. If you found your niche, I totally will go, but we still want to follow you. Alex, what does the
Right.
next 12 to 24 months look like for you?
I'm thinking moreover with my own ventures outside of my education because, of course, being as Adnan is my inspiration, I want to make sure that I'm keeping pace. So I want to go ahead and start my own things,
Uh-huh.
hopefully to do with landscaping or anything that I can help with in construction because my that's what my dad does and I want to actually be able to assist him in that in any way I can to help him streamline his processes to allow him to work more efficiently to develop
Right.
those kinds of skills for when I enter the workforce. And honestly, after my AS level exams, I'm contemplating between my A2 levels and UCCI because as Adonai said, your work-life balance
Mm-hmm.
is never well balanced.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
always going to be more rather than the other, unless you're well off from unless you're content with being, normal, which is nothing's wrong with that, of course, or if you have inheritance.
Right.
And what I'm looking for is I'm looking to find a better balance than what I have right now, because I have the opportunity. If I go to UCCI, I'll have 11,000 times more free time than what I currently have going here at prep, because it's so
Uh,
academically focused. And if I
okay.
want to be able to pursue my ambitions, then I'm leaning towards
You
more
need the balance.
UCCI.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Okay.
However, I would also go to my A2 levels, because one of my prerequisites in order to get into college is if I manage to land in a top 20 university. So that's, and I feel like I would have very good chances if I managed to graduate from my full A levels with
Mm-hmm.
two A's and a B, or three A's. I'm looking more towards that. But honestly, I'm not too worried about my academics. What I am focused on is what I can actually turn into profit and what I can actually turn into success. And of course, you can
Exactly.
do that through school. However, I want to develop my practical skills right now, because the chances of me
Mm,
being employed without a college education but with hours and hours of practical experience is much higher than if I was just a college student fresh off of the plane.
okay.
So that's what I've been thinking about more.
Okay. Denver is saying from a few things these two brilliant young men have said, I wonder if our government will reach out to them. Just saying out of curiosity. And Lisa is saying, young men, remember that God says, be temperate in all things. He doesn't want you to lose the rest of your body. Your body will need. So that's to you, Adonai. And about 3 years ago, we got Richard here saying, about 3 years or more ago, I wrote an MP on this very topic and the importance of having the technology and wealth building and financial in life, living after school school in the system. All now, no response. So the mere fact that you guys, yeah, that's 3 years ago, and here you guys are pretty much living testimonies who are action items, action-driven young men, and you are making it a reality through partnering with agencies. You're dedicated, and both of you are inspiring each other. Now, if you don't mind, can I just throw this question out in general, because you are inspiring not only adults, but if there was even like a 14-year-old or 13-year-old listening and wants to start something but feels intimidated, what would you tell them?
Mm. Honestly, I would say you just gotta do it, man, because people are always, and I mean always, going to have something to say, whether or not you're rich, famous, handsome slash beautiful, like strong, no matter what you have, even if you have the perfect life, everyone will always find a way to say something. What
Mm,
matters is your
mm,
own peace and what you
mhm,
were content with having in life. And if you are not content with going through this decision that you were too afraid to do, then you need to fix that and you need to go through with it, because what matters in life is you. Because at the end of the day, well, you and God, because at the end of the day, it's
mhm.
your life that the Lord has given you the opportunity to live. And you need
Wow.
to make good on that investment and allow not only your parents to feel proud, but for yourself, and for you to die knowing that I left my mark and that my children will hopefully be able to build off of this, and then their children.
You just given me goosebumps. Like, oh my gosh, I know this is just from the heart. Adonai,
Yeah.
what do you want to weigh into that? If a 14-year-old is listening right now, because you guys are inspiring even the grown folks that are tuned in, even if they're not commenting, we know the impact that you're making right here this evening. But let's say someone 13, 14 years old is listening and, has that desire of wanting to start something, but feels intimidated. What would you tell them right now?
Yeah, honestly, I would say this. So I would speak to them as if they're my little brother. So I have a little brother. His name's Elijah, and I love him to death. He's on my WhatsApp profile picture. Um, so I would speak to them like that. I would say this, buddy. This journey that you're about to be on is not going to be easy, and I don't want to sound condescending in the bit, I've walked it, and I'm continuing to walk it, and you're going to fail. You're going to embarrass yourself, and you're going to be in rooms that you don't think you belong in. But the fact is, you do belong. And I want you to know, anybody listening to this, I want to start this, or start whatever they want to do, whether it's, selling ice cream, selling candy, selling coconuts, construction,
Mm-hmm.
or an AI, whatever it may be. Even
Mm-hmm.
if you don't think that anybody is out there, or supports you, I support you, and God also supports you, and I want them to know that, look, there is no formula. There is no formula I could write down and give it to you for success, or for getting getting something done. There is no
Mm-hmm.
formula for that.
Mm-hmm.
What I would say is, success typically comes through tenacity, discipline, and
Mm-hmm.
determination beyond even your own comprehension. Like what I was saying before about the bag, when I was,
Mm-hmm.
campaign and whatnot. Every single time I
Yeah.
put on that backpack, I wanted to quit. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to quit. But another reason why I didn't was because I was also with my other best friend. His name is Gavin Ramos. Having somebody there, having a friend, having a proper, I guess, a, maybe not advisors, but just having friends.
Mm-hmm.
It it keeps you grounded. You've obviously, there's always this old adage that says, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. It's
Yeah.
so it's about having the proper people, there
Around
with
you.
you. Because
Mm-hmm.
like Alex was saying here, there is obviously going to be people that are going to say that you're this and this and that. There's going to be people with tons of opinions about you.
Mm-hmm.
And end of the day, even me myself have faces as well, right? People have tons of opinions. Some of it, most of it maybe not even true negatively, because I've always lived my life in a way where I wanted to make God proud. And granted, I've maybe not always done that, but I've never wronged anybody in a way where I would want that upon myself.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought about the golden rule: do to others what you would want them to do to you. And that's another thing too. I would say, buddy, do to others what you want them to do to you. So live a life where you are proud, knowing that, look, hey, look, you may not make everybody happy. You might say stuff that may not, make everybody smile, laugh, or giggle, but it's about being honest with yourself. You know, did you live your life in a way where it pleases God and it pleases, yourself? Meaning that what Alex was saying and alluded to, when you're on your deathbed and you're dying, you're gonna have a sense of fulfillment knowing that every single moment of your life and every single moment that you breathed air, you did everything you could to be the
Mm-hmm.
best person possible.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be grateful knowing that, hey, look, every single time I woke up, every single morning, I made my bed, I put my clothes on, I took life by the horns, and I said, not today, Bobo. I
Mm-hmm.
I I took life in a way where it was, you know, where I'm not gonna let life determine where I end up. So
Mm-hmm.
something about me, and look, I think I think some people argue you're born with it, and some people argue that it shapes something that you, I guess, have through experiences. But is the ability to never give up. I've said this a lot already, but I'm gonna keep saying it because there's nothing that's ever gonna stop me from
Mm-hmm.
reaching my goals. I don't care what it takes or how long it takes. I will do it. And and that's something that, it sounds very intense, sounds, you know, maybe uncomfortable, but that's the type of mentality that you
Right.
need
Right.
to become successful. So I guess to sum it all up, I'll tell them, make a plan, understand that, that plan may not be, completely, you know, the plan for you, and be humble, have humility. That's another big lesson that I've learned, is to have humility, knowing that humility will take you a lot further than
Mm-hmm.
thinking that you know everything. That's something that it took me a while to learn, and that's something my mom also taught me, is humility. To be humble, to have a humble heart, knowing that the Lord will he'll do what is right. When you look at, biblical cases, or even when you look at, certain cases, like, Me now, there's a certain situation that occurred. We won't go into too much details, but there was a situation where a person was saying something about me, completely untrue. But instead of doing anything, which obviously at the time I did, but I thought about it more. I was like, I'm gonna let my character speak,
Yeah.
meaning that
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go ahead and obviously if it's a legal case, it's completely different. I have to go to the court and appeal to to the judge, but I'm not gonna go ahead and
Lower your standards. Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
And you know what? Again, I'm saying this again. I know I sound a bit repetitive. I know I'm not perfect. I don't want anybody thinking on this call that I'm perfect, I'm special, I'm smart, or anything. I'm simply a person that chose to wake up every morning and never give up.
Mhm. Well, gentlemen, we've come to the top of the hour. Very quickly, what closing words or messages would you like to leave with us this evening? Because this has been a very thought-provoking conversation. It is very inspiring. You have gotten lots of love and shown here, and people are asking of your ages. Adonis,
I'm 17 and I was 16.
16 and 17. So, what parting words would you like to leave with us here this evening? There's so much more we could have gotten into, but time just doesn't permit us. Let's start with Alex.
All I have to say is trust in the Lord God Almighty with all your heart and soul, and everything that you need will be granted to you.
Thank you. Wow. Adonai?
Yeah. I'm gonna start with this. It's not gonna be easy. Trust yourself and give yourself a break, meaning that you're gonna fail, and that's okay. That's okay. Just know that God's there, and to always work hard. Put your best foot forward every single day, no matter what happens. Whether you're going through a divorce, you lost your job, you're on the verge of homelessness, you are struggling through depression, anxiety, you are struggling with self-doubt, whatever it may be. A majority of the things I have faced, the things, everything I
Mhm.
just listed there. And I'm gonna tell you, it's going to destroy you. I don't want to fearmonger you, but that's where you build, that's where you grow, where you are at your lowest and you rebuild and you remake yourself to a new person, a person that God will be proud of and you will be proud of. And my last note, what I'm going to say before we close off is trust the Lord Almighty God. Trust Jesus. Jesus is the only way, and He is the only way to true life. For what does it mean if the man profits the world but loses his soul?
Mm.
So, I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna say that to the day I die. What does it mean for somebody to gain the entire world, to gain fame, to gain credibility beyond measure, to gain wealth that you can't even count, but lose your soul? It means nothing. It absolutely doesn't mean anything. So what I'm going to say is trust the Lord Almighty God and make sure that He's the bedrock of your foundation to your success, and you're going to see how you flourish.
Um,
Amen.
yeah, I did that, but also you guys are just so awesome, and I just want to thank you both for sharing, for being so candid, for being so genuine, so sincere, uh, sharing with us not only your journey, your insights, your vision, but you have created a foundation of hope. And if there was any glimmer of silver lining, you could say, as to where the trajectory of our future in our young men and young women stand today, we don't have no fear. We just need to continue to support young men and young women like yourselves, continue to create those environments so that kudos to all of the corporate sponsors and partners and mentors and persons who gave you a chance. And I'm hoping indirectly today, because you guys did a testimony today, because you got no's. But for all of the I's, I hope that this will be a testimony that all our young men and women deserve is a chance. Somebody needs to give them a chance. But I want to thank you so much for sharing with us your journey, being so genuine and sincere in your delivery. I appreciate your honesty and respect that you have displayed. And Adonai, take word from myself. You're going to get there in your own time. And so is you, Alex. But I notice you're apologizing for speaking your truth. You no longer have to apologize when it's your truth. And if there's anything that you took away from this and you replay this, don't apologize for speaking your truth. You step into your truth. No disclaimer needed about hurting anybody's feelings, because everything that you have said today, you've maintained a level, both of you, of diplomacy and respect. And what I've gotten from all that you've shared is your truth. But you do not devalue your truth by being apologetic and then speaking your truth. But you will get it in the next class and as you continue to grow. So if you guys take away anything from what we can impart, because you're doing your part, you're imparting on us as a collective. And for the little time that I've known you, that's what I've picked up. And it's okay, because that'll come with age. That'll come with age. But as you are obviously force raping and being catapulted into rooms that you've even questioned, oh my God, how did I get here? Whatever. You may find yourself subconsciously almost apologizing when really all they're there is to tap in. You've earned that position and you speak with it respectfully, humility, and with confidence, but there's no need for you to apologize. I want to thank you both. Kudos to your parents. Kudos to everyone who is there. I'm just so happy that we could provide this platform for you and be able to showcase you, to give so much persons here the ability this evening to see that the future is very bright for Cayman. We just need to get our act together. And there are a lot of takeaways that we got here from today. Create the space, support, not no me, I, let's do it together. And do not fail our future because you're intimidated, because there's certain persons in certain positions who may not necessarily understand it. So you're fearful. You are pretty much sacrificing the future of our young men and women when you don't embrace certain things. But I want to congratulate you guys. I will keep tabs on you, and I will implore your parents to keep me up to date as well. And thank you so much for sharing your time, and all the best on your exams as well.
Excellent. Thank you so
for
much for
having us.
having us.
It is a pleasure.
Have a blessed day.
Have a blessed night.
Take care.
Bye.
Good night. Oh my goodness. I'm literally speechless. And Adonai is what he's saying about when he's in the front of people and presenting, he's shy. Really? The man is ready for a church. Oh my goodness. But thank you all for sharing the love. Let's get some last minute message. Adonai, none of us is perfect, but God is our refuge and our strength. Lisa Brightly says, Sabrina, I told you that these young men are preachers. Yes, you said it from the early on. Carol Jackson says, amazing young men. God bless your parents. And Miss Dorothy is saying, congratulations to your parents. Lisa also is saying, you're absolutely 100, Sabrina. Oh, I guess that was, don't apologize. Don't wait for 50 to do that. Don't apologize. Connie Bonnie says, tell them, Auntie, I'm blown away. Yeah, we got to do this again on behalf of the Sabrina Speaks platform. Kaboom! And the CMR family, all of here. They deserve multiple kabooms. I wish I had other things that we could share. And this is an image of these two young men in one of their presentations. Look at them. Look at them all dapper and all blinged out. Yeah, they didn't know I was going to do that. And look, you thinking about this is how they're taking on life. That's how they're taking on life. Just like that. just like that as they embark on the future and motivate, inspire, and encourage, and just taking it on. So you see, that's work-life balance in the classroom and knocking it out. Whenever anything stands in their way, that's how they're going to deal with it. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure bringing you another episode of Sabrina Speaks right here on the CMR TV platform. Tomorrow is another day that we are hopeful and blessed that we will live to see it come through, and we're going to continue to keep the positive vibe going and continue to highlight and showcase as we also educate each other right here in this space. Until tomorrow, another show is lined up. I'll get some confirmations later, and I'll be sending out the flyer shortly so that you'll know what we'll be discussing. And later on this week, yes, I know a lot of you are excited about the immigration reform, and finally it's going to come into force on the 1st of May. I got some YouTube that was shared with me on WhatsApp. I just didn't want to take away from these two phenomenal young men, but we will definitely be breaking it down in layman's terms, what it means. I implore you to go on to our local other media sources and platforms so that you can hear it from the minister himself. The platform here is open, but if not, that's okay. We do it our style here on Sabrina Speaks. Until tomorrow, good night, God bless. And as usual, love you lots from the bottom of my heart. Take care. See you all tomorrow.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, Cayman, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.